Hey everyone, Chris here, and welcome to Awaken Yoga. Yoga with purpose. Yoga your way. This is a cool down yoga flow designed for runners or people who might be active finishing HIIT classes, BFT, any of those type of movements that are really putting strenuous activity through your thighs, calves, glutes, a lot of lower body activation that we want to start to release and help to build. I went for a run yesterday myself, so my calves are still quite tight, so this is going to feel amazing. To start with, I just want you to come into a seated position, wherever is comfortable for you. And we're just going to take 2 breaths just to center ourselves. So on the inhale, breathe in, and exhale, let it out. Inhale, breathe it in, and exhale out. And for this, I'd like you to breathe in through your nose and exhale through your mouth. So we're really starting to release. Generally through yoga, we like you to breathe in through your nose and out through your nose. But for this practice, we want to breathe out through our mouth, so we're trying to signal to our body to keep releasing. Because we want to release all of the pent-up tension that we've been putting into our legs and hips. So firstly, I'd like you to come forward with your right leg forward. And let's just do an Anjaneyasana, a forward lunge. And for this one, we're just going to start moving a little bit. So wherever feels comfortable, starting with your knee over your ankle, and then just rocking forward and back. Let's just start to move a little bit through our hip flexors, starting to stretch a little bit through our quads and down into our calf. Moving around here. And if you've just worked out, if this is the end of your workout, or if this is the next morning after a workout, you might just be going a little bit slower to start with here and bringing your right foot back to meet your left, stepping left foot forward, and we'll do this side too. And I think this is a nice, good, dynamic stretch, especially on a really rainy, moody day. As you can see outside, this morning has started out a little bit wetter than I anticipated. It's true Sydney spring weather. Okay. Bringing that back, let's just roll hands down to the ground here. Let's get our shoulders over our wrists, knees, hips over our knees, and we're just going to do a couple of cat-cows. Just to move the spine just a little bit before we come down. That's feeling very nice this morning as we just start to just move this around. What we're really trying here is the articulation through our lower back and down just by moving our sacrum a little bit. That area can really take a lot of tension, especially if you're running, jumping, doing HIIT movements where there's a lot of high impact. So we're just trying to move this around a little bit. Now coming forward, I'd like you just to sit down and bring your feet together in this kind of butterfly pose. Now your feet can go out as far as you need to so you can get that length through your spine, or bring it back and we're just going to move them around. Don't need your legs to touch the ground. I don't need your knees to touch the ground. This is just about opening up your hips and your hip flexors. Time of day will change how this feels. If this is first thing in the morning, like it is for me, then things are going to be a little bit tighter. If it's in the evening after a workout, if it's straight after a workout, they'll be more open and more dynamic there, which is good. And it's always good to feel which side is feeling tighter. And for me, it's always my right side because I've got a previous injury there, which just hasn't healed the best. Okay, and for this now, let's move around and come down onto our back. I'd like you to bring your left foot up so your heel's just down there, and then bringing your right foot up and crossing your ankle over the top of your knee. And we're just going to rest here for a moment, just pressing open a little bit and pressing into our hip just to feel that opening. Feel our hip flexor stretching, feel the back of our hip. You might feel this a little bit in your hamstring. And then reach through and grab the leg or grab the shin, whatever works for you, and pull it into a reverse pigeon. this one always feels amazing after a run. And the idea here is not to pull it up too high, but we want to keep it so we've got a little bit of lower back extension into the floor or your mat. And keeping this here, you can move a little bit side to side if it feels nice. This isn't so much about static poses because you have just done a workout or you're recovering from one where you've had a lot of movement and your body still remembers all of that movement. So this is about stretching it in a nice, calming and gentle way. Okay, switching that round, bringing the right foot down, left foot comes up and open, and this side's so much more open for me than the other. And then bringing your hands through to the back of your leg or to your shin, wherever feels comfortable there. Flexing your feet too can just activate a little bit further down into the hamstring, which is great for a nice stretch. And trying to preserve that lower back so we're not putting too much pressure onto it. You can lift up a little bit just to stretch through. And you'll find which side of your body is more open, which side is there. It might be surprising to you. It might have changed from yesterday. We've got this wonderful machine that is our body, and that's constantly trying to keep up with our very busy lives and everything sometimes that we put our bodies through. Okay, bringing our feet back down to the ground, let's come back and up and into our seated position. From our seated position, I want you to rotate and put your hands, I'll come to this side so you can see, behind your back. And I want to bring your right hand like a holster across behind your hip here, and then just turning your neck down. Let's just release our neck here. As when we run, we're holding our head straight, our shoulders are moving, particularly in HIIT classes. We don't often release it. You might want to turn and gaze down to your shoulder, and turn and gaze back to the roof. And again, maybe just some very slight, gentle movements around here. And coming back to the center, swapping your thumbs over, and maybe your clasps around to the other side, so that the other finger's on top, and bringing it as a holster to the other side. And bending over. Ooh, just felt some great cracks as I did that. So that's definitely needed on this side. Maybe a couple of rotations. Again, not to anywhere that feels sharp, that feels pain, that feels pressure. It's about being gentle, it's about being kind. And really it's about being curious with your body to see what feedback it's giving you and what you're taking out of this in these nice, calming moments. Okay, and coming back down to your mat, I want you to bring your right foot out in front and your left foot to the inside. Johnny Shushasana. And this one, we're going to just bring our chest up and turn our chest slightly so it's not pointing directly here, but just a little bit over to the right side. And we'll bring our hands up. And as we come down, we're going to just rest here for a moment, holding out and stretching. And then we'll come back up. Now, if this is putting a lot of pressure on your lower back or you're starting to feel it anywhere, please raise your knee. And this will also help you keep more of a straight back as you bend forward. So you may choose to start with that knee out and coming forward. And then this might be a perfect position for you. You might feel it through your hamstring. You might feel it in your back where you're just preserving it and coming down. And if you have the range and you feel so inclined, feel free to come all the way down. And don't try to pull too much into here. It's about gently resting the hand and gently coming down. And your hands can come flat to the ground. They can come up. This one is about releasing all of our hamstring, our glutes, and lower back. And just 2 more breaths here. And your next inhale, coming back up. And let's switch sides. Left foot coming back in, right foot coming back out. And again, coming up and turning our chest ever so slightly across. I don't know if you could see on the other side, but my left foot sits here a lot closer. This one just raises up. As we sit here, arms coming up, and we're going to just come forward, coming down. And again, your hands, we'll just hold out for a moment here, and then come back up. Now, you may choose to bend this knee up, which preserves your back, which will help your hamstrings. This yoga is not about an aesthetic, it's about a feeling. So feel into your body and see how this feels for you. Arms back up, and come down and over. And you might choose to put your foot out and come all the way down, if that works for you. If that's in your range, if that's in your wheelhouse. If not, that is fine. I need to fix up this cord. And not pulling too hard, resting our hands down. And feeling the range. 2 more breaths here. And coming back up. Now, hands down to the ground. In front, bring your knees back around, coming with hips over knees, tuck your toes, and let's come up to downward dog. Now your downward dog, this might be your first dog of the day, this might be after a run, might be after wherever, so you want to keep a generous bend in your knees here to preserve your back. We want to roll our shoulders open and down, which opens up all through there, and with our heels, we're gently pressing back towards the back of the room. Now you might want to pedal this out. Feel that opening and feel that stretch through your calves, through your glutes, moving all the way out through our hamstrings, and you'll feel it a little bit in your quads too. And here, if you want to come up just to the pads of your feet, and if it feels okay, and if you've got the ankle strength for it, just putting one leg behind the other and slowly just pressing back, up and down, a few toe raises here to really stretch through the back of our calf and the back of our hamstring. Just a couple of short ones here, keeping our hips level, make sure we're pushing back through our shoulders, and our neck is not engaged here, it's just gently holding our head. Right foot back to the ground, left foot coming up, and coming around to the back, and doing the same thing here. A few presses back, just stretching out. And just getting that nice, gentle release. And coming back to center. And we'll just take a couple more breaths here. So if you feel like your heels can come closer to the ground, perfect. If not, just holding here for a couple of moments. And what would it feel like to raise your tailbone closer to the sky, pushing it all the way up? Bringing that straightness and length through your spine. And we never want a perfectly straight spine because we have a naturally curved spine, but we just want to try to keep it in alignment. Now coming up to your tippy toes, let's just walk ever so gently top of the mat. Hip, feet distance apart, and coming up, rolling ourselves up just to stand here. And now opening our shoulders, rolling our hands back to Tadasana, our mountain pose, and stand. And then I just want you to bring your hands to heart center, and with a really generous bend of your knees, fold of the hips, let's come down to a forward fold. And from this forward fold, I just want you to keep your hands on the ground, hands maybe fingertips, or if it feels really nice, grab your elbows and just sway a little bit, swaying around. This will really be felt in the back of the hamstrings and all of the connecting tissue and muscles to your hips. If you're tight anywhere there, if you've been doing lots of impact, you'll feel that across there, and this is a great release. And then just coming down into our fold, releasing to wherever feels nice for you. And we're just going to take a few moments. slowly on your inhale, coming all the way back up to our Tadasana. Feeling our feet planting into the ground, drawing that energy back up, opening our shoulders and our hands from here. And then coming back down to the ground, however you want to get there, through a fold, or just simply coming straight back down to sit. Feet out in front. And this one is just our straight little stretch. So hands coming up, and we're going to start moving forward and over. And keeping your hands just straight, just like we did on the Jani Shirshasana. Just going to keep our hands out for a moment and then come back up. And this time as we come down, we're going to make sure that our chest is moving forward. We're feeling our ribs come down. You might want to be bending your knees here to preserve your lower back and so that you can feel that connection to your knees and come down. And this might just feel amazing. It might be perfect release here. It might be there. If you've got the range and you're feeling it today and you don't feel like you're overly tight, you can come down further and keep your hands here. And if you want to take your head further, then feel free to bring it all the way down. And at the end, can you make sure that you release your neck? So your neck isn't being held up, it's not tensing, and it just folds down. We're just going to take this here for a couple of moments. Sorry about that. Just a couple of breaths. Sorry for freaking everybody out there who just felt like they were going to be stuck here for a while. Just a couple more moments. And then coming back up. Bringing your feet around to wherever is a comfortable seat. Cross-legged, can be nice to sit here, or if you really like, hero's pose, which is a great way to end the practice. So I want to thank you for giving me your time and being here to help unwind, and hopefully this has helped stretch out and alleviate any problems in your body and help you get ready for your next big run, hit, pass, or yoga workout. Thanks again. Namaste.